Dear friends in Jesus Christ, recently, while addressing a group of young people, I asked them the following question. What is the opposite of the word Catholic? I don't know what your answers are, but some of them in that group gave me very interesting answers. Father, the opposite of Catholic is Protestant, Anglican, and Pentecostal. Is that your answer too? Father Ron Rolheiser, a famous theologian and award-winning author, says, the opposite of being Catholic is not being Protestant. The opposite of being Catholic is being narrow, exclusive, and overly selective in our embrace. All of us have studied in our catechism that Catholic means wide or universal. The best definition of Catholic comes from Jesus himself, who tells us, in my Father's house, there are many rooms. In speaking of Father's house, Jesus is not pointing to a mansion in the sky, but to God's heart. God's heart has many rooms. It is wide, abundance, prodigal, and universally embraced. God has a Catholic heart. I believe to be a Catholic is to be an inclusive person, like our prodigal God, whose sun shines on all indiscriminately, the bad as well as the good. Inclusivity is the central demand of Christian discipleship. In the gospel today, we have Jesus on his visit to Nazareth, his hometown. He goes into the synagogue and teaches. His teaching is not accepted with wonder, but with great kind of contempt. The people in the synagogue take offense at him. They were scandalized that a man who came from a background like Jesus should say and do things such as he did. Their narrow, exclusive, and overly selective approach made them despise and reject Jesus and his message. They rejected Jesus and his teachings for two reasons. The first was because he was an ordinary working man. Is not this the carpenter? Mark 6:3. In Greek, the word for carpenter is tekton. It means a worker in wood or craftsman. To us, that is his glory, because it means that God, when he came down to this earth, claimed no exemptions. He took upon himself the common tasks with his common life. The second reason to despise Jesus was that they knew his family. Is not this Mary's son? Do we not know his brothers and sisters? Again, Mark 6:3. Familiarity had bred a misplaced contempt in them. They could not allow Jesus and his message to sink deep into their hearts. The people of Nazareth gave into the same old temptation of evaluating one another solely by externals and incidentals, and not by intrinsic worth. The result of this narrow, exclusive, and selective mindset was that Jesus could not do mighty works in Nazareth. Dear friends, today we see a kind of a creeping narrowness and intolerance. Fundamentalism, with its many types of ideology, has infected us. Our age is witnessing an erosion of Catholicism. This is as true in the secular world as in the church. We call ourselves as radical disciples of Jesus, who was always indiscriminate and passionate about inclusivity. But we, in turn, continue to remain parochial, exclusive, and discriminate one another because of our undue allegiance to caste, region, and language. This attitude reveals that we have very few rooms left in our hearts. Exclusivity can mask itself as a positive force to achieve so many good things, but it inevitably often reveals itself as lacking genuine empathy for those outside its own circle. And in that, it fails to honor its own abundant and prodigal God. In God's house, there are many rooms. There is an embrace for everyone, rich and the poor, conservative and liberal, irrespective of any distinctions. God's heart is a Catholic heart, and God's house is a Catholic house. And we must be Catholic as our Heavenly Father is Catholic. Let us create more Catholic hearts and more Catholic houses. May God bless us all.